What's up, Jeff? Thanks for coming back on the show, bud.
Yes, sir, man. What's going on?
Dude, not much, dude. What's Arkansas like right now, dude? Like the whole country is freaking out because snow has touched down in places it's never touched down before.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee by birth, but I've been in Arkansas a long time. We ain't used to this down here. We got about, I don't know, between the 2 days, probably close to 10 inches of snow.
Yeah, Jesus, man. I
So,
saw in Texas they were like bobsledding down hills in kayaks, man. It's unreal
oh
what
yeah,
happened this year.
yeah, they never seen snow like that down there. I don't think, but yeah, they're covered up. I heard there was snow on the beach in Galveston. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah, I mean, like living in Florida, like Panama City, it snowed once, like back in 1990. And when I say that, I mean like very lightly. Maybe like enough to make like a little small snowman, but like nothing. But we still freaked out about it. And then when I saw Texas, I was like, that looked like a lot of snow, like the kind of snowfall you see up here in upstate New York in some places.
oh yeah, yeah. And I was stationed in North Dakota for a bit when I was in the military, and we used to get it up there too. But the people down here, they just ain't used to it. They're not used to driving in it. They're not used to dealing with it. They don't have the equipment to
Right.
scrape the roads or anything. But we're digging out. I think it's supposed to be 50 on Saturday or Sunday, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, it really is funny that like how unprepared like some of those places are. Because I remember I got stationed at Fort Drum up in New York, and I went down to see some friends down in like Columbus, Georgia, where Fort Benning is. It was like 19 degrees, no snow, just some freezing advisories, and they shut down schools, they shut down the military posts, they shut down everything just because of like 19 degrees. And I'm like, up here we live in that for like 3 or 4 months, 19 and below. Sometimes the sub temperatures like -4 or whatever. But it's weird like how like unprepared like a place like Texas is, where like some places that they lost power.
Oh yeah, and you know what I feel bad for is the kids, man. They ain't got no more snow days. It's all they just put them on Zoom,
Yeah,
make them
shit.
virtual learn.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like those days that were over with.
Yeah, COVID didn't ruin the snow days too.
Yeah, Jesus, can't wait for that to be over with. So, what do you think? How do you think it's going to affect the tournaments coming up? I know, Watts Bar or whatever. Or you think it's going to like play a big effect on that, like the temperatures?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're expecting a lot of snow over there, but it's definitely going to be cold. Maybe a little bit of ice. The turnout is going to be lower than normal, I would say. I mean, I would have easily expected over 100 there. I think they're pushing 90 right now, and registration ends tonight.
Yeah,
So they'll still hit 90, which is really good for post cold front snow apocalypse or ice apocalypse over there in Knoxville.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, that's going to make up for some like hard fishing, man. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. Anybody's
So,
game though. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
dude.
Whoever shows
Yeah,
up, they're gonna have an equal shot.
like if there's any time for me to go down south and try to put an ass whooping on people, it'd be now, right?
That's right. That's
Like,
right.
like
Do
you're
your
you're
thing. Bring your
you're in my
northern ways.
yeah, you're in my element now. But well, shit, dude, I'm glad you're on. I wanted to catch up. It's been a while since I had you on the show. A lot of changes have happened, especially with your guys' podcast. Like, first off, dude, like you guys are really like dialing it in. Like you're like, 'cause I've been listening to you guys probably since the beginning. And your sound, like everything, like the sound, like the quality of the show is like like it's like 100% better than what it was like in the earlier days.
Man, I appreciate that. I took a lot of arrows from the crowd for a lot of the internet hookups, and we've tried every dang software under the sun. Um, trying to get it there. So we appreciate you saying that. And we even got Ox Pimpin, DJ Williams, to put us a little intro song. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like if, it's good. I mean, like I really enjoy it. Like I mean, what did you guys figure out? Like what was the like process of like really improving the show? Like, because like me, like I only put like 60% of effort into like my podcast. Just because like the time wise, like I don't have time to sit there and know how to like edit videos and make cool intro. I mean, I do have time. I just don't put a lot of time into it right now. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, don't get it twisted. Me and Ryan aren't exactly running NBC News over here. We don't have show notes or anything like that. We might get a guest on Sunday night for Monday or Monday afternoon for Monday night. Just depends. But we try to work ahead a little bit. And I think a lot of it's just Ryan and I have kind of developed better chemistry of doing this now for a little while. And, just tuning in the software to make it work better for us.
yeah, I think the StreamYard was the game changer for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Getting off the Spotify. I think the Spotify was just it's really fun about Spotify because I've been using Spotify since like the early days of the war, like midway through. Technology got a little bit better, and like we were able to use like Skype to call home and shit like that. And then it
Yeah.
was like a product at the time. It was amazing, but it never literally like grew with the times or like improved. And so when I was trying to use the podcast, I was like, man, this is just as shitty as it was back in like 2006.
Yeah, man, pulling Skype in and into OBS or Streamlabs or even XSplit, whatever you were using, you always had that chance of it just completely locking up. It bogged your computer down. You were very dependent on internet strength for everybody. And this StreamYard, it's browser based, and you can just pull somebody in from anywhere on a phone, whatever, and it seems to work perfect. So
Yeah,
love
and the uploading, like getting it from here onto like the Anchor app or whatever
Yeah.
soft or whatever platform you're using, it's just way easier.
Oh yeah, piece of
Way
cake.
easier.
And I'm
So
sure a year from now we'll be talking about something else that'll be even better. Who knows?
yeah, I know, dude. Like it really is like this podcast thing. It hasn't been around that long, but like it's just the new thing. Like I don't think people are going to be using like regular TV or news anymore because like it's so easy for someone like me and you to get out here and like put our opinion out and have these like awesome conversation with people that you just don't get anywhere. And it's like you can have like these really raw, like good conversations with people too, and like really go in depth and ask those questions that you want to ask instead of the way it's been in the past.
Yeah, and we don't have the coverage that the pro bass events have. Obviously, even they are into the podcasting thing, but I consider podcasts like yours, Paddle and Fin, Yak Legion, us, whoever's doing this, we're kind of the front line out there, de facto sports center or talk radio of kayak fishing. Otherwise, you're not going to get that much news out. So
right,
we're doing the Lord's work, man. We're out there doing it.
The shit. So let me ask you, like you guys just got a sponsor, and like to me, it's like the first, like it's a legit sponsor. Something I've been like dabbling in, because I don't know what I really want to do with my show. I'm not sure how far I want to take it. To me, like it really is just a hobby. I get off work.
Yeah.
I come to the man cave, and I get the shit fired up, and I bring someone in, and we have a fun conversation. But like the sponsor, I think it was cool because like I've been working with a lot of like companies, but I wouldn't necessarily call them like sponsors. I get good discounts on companies or on products, but the show isn't better or worse with or without. You know what I mean? Like it would be the show would be the same with or without them. Like, what do you think about it? Like a sponsor, like what is a sponsor to you as far as like what you're doing with the podcast?
Well, I mean, we didn't really push for that along the way. I mean, Ryan and I have been around kayak fishing a little while, so we've got some contacts and could really probably beat the bushes and try to get some stuff going. But we're like you. We just like to do it. We think it's fun. We like getting our opinion out there. But if the right one came along, we thought, we want to be able to talk to him. And I've been a fan of Western Sun for a while because my buddy Duke down in Texas, they support kayak fishing around DFW already. He got me in contact with their marketing people just to see if there'd be any interest. We had a little phone call, got to talking. I mean, Adam is one of the sales reps. He's a great guy. And he put our name up there with their marketing folks, and the rest is history, man. They were interested. We could offer them a little value. They could offer us value, and boom, we're in. I think it's a perfect match. It's, non-endemic sponsor. It's not fishing related, but it kind of fits what we do on our podcast.
Well, I think that's kind of like what you need to look for anyways, right? Because I mean, like when you're trying to look at these fishing companies, like there's not much they can really do for you.
Right.
So like when I'm thinking about, sponsors, like I need someone who's outside the fishing industry that needs this kind of reach, because there's not much I can do for like these fishing companies I have worked with. It's like I look at the relationship I have with them. It's like there's not much I can do for you. Like you already have this many thousand followers. You got this many people buying your product. Like what really can I do? And because of that, like what really can I ask from you? As someone who's pursuing sponsorship or whatever it is that I'm doing. But like it just seems like there's not the relationship that I've had with people. It's not like there's really nothing we can do for each other, because like there's really no value for you and me right now because I haven't really just grown to that level yet. I don't know. I like trying to find like a relationship that works together. I think is like the most important thing that I just haven't found that yet.
Right. And the thing is, it's tough on the fishing side of things sometimes, just because, fishing companies are tied to 100 different, 1,000 different people or different companies on different levels of fishing. So you kind of get lost in the shuffle there. But I mean, your podcast is different than everybody else's. I mean, you have your own way of delivering things. It's awesome. It's hilarious, but still informative. So, I mean, I think, the right sponsor comes knock on the door, you'll be able to give them some value, because you get a lot of eyes and ears on this thing, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. But I think what I like about yours is like, it does, like for one, I like it is outside the fishing industry. Like I said, I just think the industry is just tough to really navigate through because, of YouTube personalities, and And then you also got some of the pro, like there's so much competition for like those dollar signs or whatever it is. Like besides product or deep discounts, it just doesn't really make sense to me to really chase a lot of those things. But like what you guys found outside, an alcohol company, a show that's fun, that like every time I watch the show, Ryan's got a drink in his hand or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then most of the people who are watching your show are probably having a few drinks. Most of our shows are at night. We've been working all day. It's the beginning of a work, whatever. And it's nice to sit back, have a drink, and listen to people talk about fishing and laugh and all the things that go on with our shows. I think it was kind of like when I first saw it, I was like, this is a cool idea. This is a cool sponsor, a vodka company. I think it fits you guys perfect.
Man, I think they've already seen the value in it, because kayak anglers like to have a good time. The community's a little different than your typical outdoor sports community, and people tagged them up, sharing pictures of Western Sun on their own pages and on our group page, obviously, and they see that engagement, so they see the value there. Of when next time they're at the liquor store and they see that on the shelf, they may snag it. And I always tell people, whether it's your local club or not, man, the best way to support any sponsor of anything is to go buy their stuff. So if they see that happening, then they're going to be happy.
Right. Now, has it changed the way you guys kind of operated some? Because I've noticed, like, when you guys got on, like, you have that intro that you do in your show now. I guess that's the part that, like, as I'm moving forward, like what can I really, because like if I do get a sponsor and someone who's going to invest and actually really invest in me, it's like, well, now I got to think about what I'm going to do, like, and whether it's editing a video or all that stuff you do. Like, I mean, does it kind of change the way you look at and do a podcast now? Because now like before, like, we're just a bunch of idiots just goofing around, talking on the microphone, just talking shit, and now we got someone who's backing us. And so not only do we represent them or ourselves, we also kind of represent them in a way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. But the cool thing is, obviously we wanted to make sure we put their logo on stuff and give them a little intro and make sure that, they're seen and heard, and that, everybody knows that they're our presenting sponsor. But they haven't asked in the slightest for us to change how we do things or change our content or be careful of this or that. From Adam himself, he watches the podcast and he's like, hell no, we like to party. So do what you do. You got,
right.
We like this. So we appreciate that. They haven't tried to say, hey, look, now be careful. We got our name on this. There hadn't been any of that.
Right. Well, I guess it's like the benefits, or like the, getting a vodka company or getting a beer company for shows like ours. It makes sense because that's what we do. Like we are like fun-filled people, and like our shows have always been about more humor than anything else, and shit talking and ball busting and things like that. And which I think it makes us different than a lot of other podcasts. Because a lot of other podcasts are very not bad, just they got like a little more serious than us, and not as raw as us. And so, but then I look at someone like Paddle and Finn. Like, there's a reason why the people they have that are like support their show probably don't want to support my show, because they don't want it. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I mean it's not always the best thing to do to get behind some drunk ass with a microphone.
That's right.
Talking shit, having way too much fun. I mean, there's people who like that, and it's good for them. And I imagine like a vodka company or a beer company or whatever suits us well,
Yeah, for sure. And really, I mean, the KBN group page is obviously its own little wild west of kayak fishing, but our fan page, our website, the podcast, we keep it real, but we're not just throwing out trash for the sake of throwing out trash. We try to have a good time, but still handle business the right way. The group page is its own animal. You know how that goes over there.
Yeah, it's it's really weird. Like, if you notice, I started getting a little more open and started saying a little more things on there, and immediately had to stop.
No, man,
some dude hurt my feelings.
You need to dive in there with both feet. Just take it,
dude. You better have your shit. You better have like your response, your response to that response. You better have it all on the road, because some of those guys are just quick. They're witty. Their sarcasm goes deeper than anything I've ever experienced before. Like, there's been a few times I'm like, I wasn't ready for that.
And I tell you, the funny thing, man, is I would say 99.9% of these people are as good as gold. And if you needed something, they would help you out. They just like busting each other's balls, and it's not serious. But some people don't understand that, and they can't get wrap their mind around that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's to me, that's the best kind of friends to have, are the ones that that bust your balls. I mean, because look. Well, one cool thing about this sport, that we're in right now, is that it's not as big and it's not as serious as like, the big boat world. Like, we're still pretty like tight niche, a small group of people who live in that world. We're like, and I get afraid when people say, "Oh, let's grow the sport." I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like the way it is right now. Like, everyone busts each other ball, but everyone's there to support. Like, if someone breaks in your truck the night before and steals your fish finder, you might have two waiting for you at the launch the next day if you put it out on the right platform. And it's just a really unique thing I think we have here. not just through your, just through our podcast and the people we meet, and especially like the cesspool, the group page you guys have. It's like, dude, like, yeah, there's a lot of shit talking. There's a lot of good things going on there. Like, I remember one time I posted because I was thinking about going down to this tournament this weekend. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna have a kayak because Old Town hasn't shipped it out yet. And it's like, dude, I had like 4 people respond, say, hey, you'll have a boat when you get here. Just let us know.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's how it is. That's what I mean by that. Is everybody, even the harshest guy you may see on there that you think, man, that guy's a jerk, but really, if you showed up in his town and needed something, he'll cue you right up. Most likely. Yeah. So it's all good people, and I always laugh because it's really the same people from every other kayak fishing group. They're just looser over there in our group. Same people.
Yeah, for sure. So that what are sort of like early 2020, like we're early in the season, like my season hasn't even started yet, but 2020, like, yeah, dude, like, is there anything that you guys are like thinking about doing different? I mean, like, because each year you guys are getting bigger and the sport's getting a little bigger, and our involvement can change some. Like, is there anything that you guys are thinking about doing differently, or as far as like growing the podcast as this sport starts to grow a little more?
Man, not really. We haven't tried to get too fancy with it. I mean, we keep trying to search for ways to bring in other guests so that we're not all just kind of doing a little circle jerk with the same people every other week. We're trying, but it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to go out there and find unique things to talk about and unique people to talk to. Somebody wins a tournament and they line up on 5 or 6 different podcasts, which they should, and that's awesome. But we want to keep trying to find ways to interview kind of obscure people that maybe not everybody has talked to.
Yeah, that's kind of like one of the problems I had, and I've already started this year. Like, if I can't get them first, I'm probably not going to talk to you until like later on,
right?
Because it becomes very like, like Russ Snyder, like for like if he went to tournament for that whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he's on a podcast, and there's only so many things I can ask a guy that's not already being asked. So lately, I've been trying to go outside the kayak community or finding someone who's doing something unique. I've had a few different types of guests, but even that's kind of hard to find people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I just take chances. Like, hey, you seem cool. You want to come on the show? And then luckily I haven't had like a bust yet, but it is tough because, it's like everybody wants to talk to the winner. Everybody wants to talk to
and you should. I mean, that's good for the winner. It helps promote them, but and you take a risk when you go out there and try to find those obscure guests too, because are they going to listen? Are they going to watch? I don't know. Like, we pulled the Fishing Chaos guy. I'm a huge Dwayne Wally fan, Tourney X fan. We wanted to talk to the Fishing Chaos guy because we wanted to know what was up with that. And that was a big hit. That was a, heavily watched show. A lot of people listen to the audio podcast too. But then we've done some others that weren't received so well, but it was worth a try. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of like what I've done, but I've had a lot of success. I think like the biggest problem with running a podcast is when you get someone on there, you really want to talk to them, but they're not everyone's built to talk on a podcast. You know what I mean? That's been like some of my like, and I'm not trying to sound mean or like whatever, but it's like you bring them on there and it's like within like the first 2 minutes, you're like, God damn, I got to make this thing last 30 minutes. It's like, and I'm not trying to, but I mean, like the guy just has the person has no like personality or he's nervous or whatever it is. But it's like, dude, I can't, like 30 minutes and you can just tell like this is going to be one of those shows. And then
that's where you got that's where you earn your money, dude. The podcast host, you got to kind of bleed it out of them.
Yeah, you got to like come up with like some, and people can tell you're just reaching in the cloud trying to find some question to ask them, trying to find some trigger to like to spark something. And sometimes it happens, but a lot of, like there's a few times it's like, dude, like I can't have you back on the show no matter what you do because I can't make it an interesting conversation. Like there's been some people it's like you can't, like there's things about it. It's like, dude, this should be a hot show. Like there's a lot of things we can talk about. And you bring them on there, it's like, man, it's such a.
It's funny is how many times have you thought something from somebody's social media personality and then how they were when you actually interviewed them is so different. Yeah, like from what they post or type compared to how they interview, it's so different.
So different. I mean, there's been like there hasn't been very many shows, but there's been a few where I'm like, I absolutely regret doing that one. It's like one of those things though. Like you owe that person the respect. Like if I record with you, like I'm gonna post it unless I get like too drunk and I feel like an absolute jackass. Like I'm going to post that show because I feel like your time, like you gave me your time and you deserve, whatever it is. And who knows, maybe I'll have you back on and things will be different. But
respect to anyone that takes the time to do it. No disrespect intended. That's just we're supposed to. It's our job to try to make them look good, even if they struggle on the mic, and that's what we try to do. So
nothing big going on this year. You guys are thinking as far as, I mean, what are you thinking about? Are you going to do a little bit more traveling this year?
Yeah, I mean, last year I only got to fish 2 BOS events. Didn't do great in either one of them. Fished a couple bass events, but just with work and what was going on with COVID, I just couldn't get out much. And Ryan and I mean, both of us love to tournament fish, so that'll be more of the focus is getting out and trying to compete for these tournaments. My goal is to make the TOC. It drove me nuts that I didn't get to get in there the last 2 years. So yeah, I'm all in on that this year. So I'm gonna travel a little bit, starting in March and really get after it.
Well, I think that's what's like really cool about our two shows is that like not to talk shit about some of the other people out there, but like we like when people say like like when they talk about like community and really being involved, and like one of the things that are important to me is that if I'm going to do this and I'm going to talk all that kind of shit, then like it's important for me to like give back and like be involved in the community. Like if I'm going to be like it's important for me to compete in tournaments, not just because I love tournaments, but because to me that's being part of the community. Like everyone else is like investing and buying into this and putting money into this and traveling and making this thing what it is. Like for me to like benefit this at all and not participate in these tournaments and whatever, to the best of my abilities as far as like finances and the things I have going on. But it's important to me to like really like participate and do these things, because if not, sometimes I feel like I would feel like a leech, someone who's just like leeching off these things. It's like, no, dude, like if I'm going to talk to someone about tournament fishing, then I feel like I need to be involved in tournament fishing in some way, or like I said, the best of my abilities.
That's right. I mean, how do you talk about it if you don't know about it? You know what I'm saying?
Well, how can you be passionate about it if you're not really doing it?
And you got people on different sports that commentate that don't really play or maybe never played. I don't know, but this is different. I feel like you need to have skin in the game. So I agree with you. You'd be out there doing it, even if it's just local regional stuff,
Right. Well, but that's still buying into that local regional stuff is just that's more important than the actual the big ones, because like without those, if you don't have those feeder groups and you don't have like those smaller groups that gets people into the sport, you're not going to have a big Hobie turnout. You got to have like those locals. So I don't know, it's just something to me, like when I really started doing the show and like and talking about the things I was talking about, it's like you got like, I mean, like if you're going to talk about community and all this stuff all the time, then you got to be in the community. And I just think the community are a bunch of crazy guys who travel the country, fishing one tournament to the next, chasing this dream, this impossible, this ridiculous thing that we're chasing. I'm not sure exactly what the end state is for all this, but I just feel like you got to be involved. Like you really got to put sometimes your money where your mouth is and go out there, compete, lose, but experience the same thing that everyone else experienced, and like really be part of the community, because it is a cool community in the sense that like it's a participant sport. It's not like football or basketball where it's like you reach a certain point and that's it. It's over for you. Like you can be a fan of the sport and participate in the sport and compete at the sport's, whatever highest of levels.
Oh yeah. Until you can't even walk down to get in your kayak anymore. You keep on doing it. You know what I mean?
Until you're forced to get a motor,
Yeah, man. I know. I love the sport. People ask me all the time, why don't you, me and my son, why don't you get a bass boat, Dad? Let's get that bass boat. And, I could, but I just don't want to. I'd rather kayak fish.
I mean, well, it just opens so many like opportunity. Like, I mean, I get to go, I can go out there and compete against the best, granted, whether I'm, no matter how many times I lose or whatever, but I'm still like involved. Where like, if I get a boat and that's it, like I'm just a recreational fisherman, and when I get a chance, I'll go out there and fish if I got the gas money to do it. And then I'll store that thing up in an expensive ass marina during the winter and whatever, and then that's it. Like this sport is like you can really go wherever you want to go and attempt things you can't do in like the big boat world. Like I said, this is a very unique sport. I think, like I said, where like anyone, like when we say it, like we really mean like anyone can do it.
Yeah, and I trick myself, use mind games to pump myself up for this stuff. I used to play a lot of sports, I'm getting too old and can't do what I used to do. So I use this as the replacement. You know what I mean? I treat this like a basketball game or something like that. And kayak fishing is enough of a physical game that you can kind of treat it like that. You know what I mean? You got to have a little stamina. Even with a motor, you got to have a little stamina to stretch, twist, turn, and be out on the water for 8 hours in that little vessel fighting fish and covering water, especially if it's a no motor tournament, which I really prefer is human powered only tournaments.
No, I agree. Like that's kind of where I'm at now, but it's also just like the mental part of it. Like it's like this game is it's a technique sport. Like you have to be good and you have to be improving. And there's these little subtle things that you have to learn, or you're never going to be successful with some of these other guys. And it's like one of the cool things about it is that you're always, to me, it's like you just constantly have something to strive toward. Like there's no comfortable place in this sport. Like you constantly have to try to get better, whether it's improving your techniques or whatever. Like there is no like end to it. It's almost like like whatever, like when I was in like jujitsu, it was like you're never going to be that great. Like you have to just keep going and keep going and keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
And it's a never ending pursuit of perfection that, and luckily it's a sport where I'm like you, I grew up doing a lot of competitive sports, but dude, like my knees don't allow me to do the things that I used to. My lower back is begging me to stop doing the things that and so like it's nice to have something that has like some kind of physical aspect to it, but also this mental aspect of it. And it's just like I can grow old with this sport. Unlike some of the other sports, some of these sports have left me in the shadows, and it's just a reminder of what I used to be.
Yeah, for sure, man. It like you said, it's a unique community, unique sport, and I think there is a reason it's the fastest growing segment of bass fishing, or competitive bass fishing, especially.
Yeah, definitely. Like, who knows where it's going to be? I mean, like, granted, like I feel like the last 2 years, or this year and next year, are probably going to set us back just a little bit. But I think in the next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be a growth that I don't even know if we're even going to be ready for.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where, if there's another organization that's going to come in. KBF's kind of revamped and remodeled how they're doing things. Hobie's doing their thing, Bass is doing their thing. So, it's just getting bigger and bigger on that level. And then there's more local trails popping up everywhere, which is great. That's even more important,
Yeah, the local trails, definitely. Now, you used to be a local tournament director, correct?
Yeah. I founded the Natural State Kayak Anglers here in Arkansas. We actually have 2 groups now, one in Northwest Arkansas, one in Central Arkansas. They're both booming, growing. It's in good hands right now. I still got a little opinion over there, but I'm hands off. I don't really do anything, and they do a great job. Taylor Frizzell's the president of the Northwest Club, and James Whitted down in Central Arkansas, and those guys do a great job, along with their little.
Like, much respect to anyone who takes on the duty as a tournament director. It's
This
is my first year and hasn't even started. The season hasn't even started yet, and it's already like it's more work than I thought, and like more involvement than what I thought, and it's dude, it's not the easiest thing to do. Like, I mean, for one, there's no pay in it. It's all about
right.
And then if you do take pay, people are going to talk shit about it. But it's a very it's not as easy as I thought it was. There's a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of things, and it's not. I mean, you can be a shitty tournament director, but you're going to ruin it for everyone if you are. But to be a decent one, like you've really got to put in like all this time and effort. And I'm like, it's not just about fishing anymore when you're doing these things.
Heck no, man. Hey, look, I got 10 times more time on my hands running a podcast in that KBN group than I ever did running tournaments. You were always getting messages and always having to organize and plan. And I felt so bad because the guy that took over for me on the Northwest Arkansas group took over last year. It was his first year, and boom, COVID happens, and he had to make all the adjustments and make all that happen. But they handled it. But yeah, I much respect to anyone that runs tournaments. And frankly, I'm the one banging that drum that thinks anyone that runs a tournament, judges, whatever, should be getting paid something, even if it's just gas money.
Yeah. But you know what? One of the things that bothered me is like there was a question, I think it was on the KBN page, but it's like about tournament directors participating in the events they're running. And all I could think about is like, dude, if I'm not allowed to participate in this tournament, then we're not having the tournament. You think I did this tournament just so everyone else could do it? Like, it's like the reason why I brought a tournament up here is because we didn't have any tournaments up here. And we were all like, in my area, we were all having to travel like 2-3 hours and like plan like overnight stays to go fish what we would call a local tournament. I'm like, no, like I live close to Oneida Lake. I live, 45 minutes south of the Lawrence River. I live, 45 minutes from Cayuga. I live very close to all these big bodies of water, and then we got all these smaller bodies of water that they're just as, if not better, especially for kayaks. It's just like, dude, like if I can't participate, then no one is. Like, the only reason we're doing this is so I can fish tournaments as well. And it was a weird argument. It's like, I mean, as long as everything's like transparent and that I'm going to be fishing this tournament and you agree to that, then what's the problem? And if you don't like that, then you don't have to fish our tournament. But to say that a tournament director shouldn't fish it was a weird argument.
Man, it's touchy because for 2 years of me running ours, I sat out, didn't compete locally because of that. There were rumblings and rumors when I did well in tournaments, or my friends did, that I was giving up GPS spots and all this kind of shit. And none of that's true, but it's the perception.
Right.
And that's just a battle you got to face with. And with Tourney X, it's hard to make people wrap their head around the fact that you can be in a tournament and pass the judging and your fish on to somebody else. And the GPS is not like they're giving up your brush pile. It just shows you're on that lake most of the time. It's not like it's dead on accurate, but it is tough. I mean, I understand the other side of people being leery of it because of, as you know, on KBN, we out the cheaters. There are people out there cheating. So everybody's leery of everything,
Right. Well, I mean, but it's also one of those things. It's like Well, like, dude, if you guys think I'm a cheater, if you guys think that I'm doing that, then you probably shouldn't be
don't fish it.
competing with it. You probably shouldn't be competing with it. You should just drive it 2-3 hours to go fish with the other guys.
That's right. And people have figured out workarounds for that. Like you said, getting other people to judge or whatever the case may be. So
yeah, dude, it's that was like the judging and the like that's been like the toughest thing to wrap, because even me, like, looking like what I got to do, like, it's easy to make a mistake and like ruin a tournament series, based off just like what the judges do or what the tournament directors do. And it's not as easy as just like, hey, can we all just compete and have a good time? It's like, no, these people are here to win money, and when money's on the line, like, there's no room for mistakes or hiccups or anything like that. Like, I mean, you watch, like, if KBF or Hobie and those guys, they do like one thing wrong.
You saw
Dude,
the bent board. The bent board thing's still going on. They're talking about
Yeah,
bent boards from the Hobie thing, and KBF still catches hell for stuff they've done. So yeah, it doesn't go away easy.
No, but I mean, that's probably a good thing. It keeps us all honest, or it keeps us seeking some kind of improvement.
Yeah, it is what it is. I like transparency. We all mess up. Nobody's perfect. But everybody should have nothing but respect, especially for your local tournament directors, because like you said, most of them aren't getting paid. They're just giving you a place to fish. So go out there and pat them on the back and have fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, dude, like, we got to talk about Old Town, if that's all right.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Like, I just now like, you're one of the people that taught me into to getting into Old Town. Like, I had to leave Jackson for no big reason. Like, it's not like Jackson did me dirty or anything like that. But it was time for me to figure out and like move something else. And dude, I tell you, like, Old Town was the easiest like choice to make, not because of what I felt on the kayak, but like just the people, the people that are on the Old Town team. Like, it's real tournament fisher anglers. It's people who, like, you see them, like, they're always out at tournaments. And it's just a great team of people that really read that, compared to like some of the other, like whatever, the Jackson team, for instance. I mean, I'm not saying Jackson doesn't have like competitors, but like every person I talk to in Old Town is pretty much a competitor out there, really like testing it out and showing it off. And it was one of the things that really got me into it. But I ended up getting the big water.
Hell yeah.
But can you talk to me, like, what was the thing, why they went from like the Predator and changed it to the big water? Like, what are the difference? Like, what am I really getting into?
Really, it's just a Predator. I mean, it's just renamed Predator. There's a few little nuances to it, but really, it's got a little bit of different seat. But overall, the whole design, the drive, everything's the same as the Predator. The whole idea behind that was they wanted to rebrand as a Sportsman line. They wanted to use the name Sportsman and have one line of boats rather than Topwater, Predator, and all these different names. They wanted Sportsman 106, Sportsman Big Water, Sportsman Autopilot. They just wanted that branding, and that was the idea behind it.
How much of the difference is there between like when we look at like when I was in Jackson, there wasn't much of a difference between like the Coosa and the big rig. I mean, there is some, like the big rig would definitely do better on the big waters than the Coosa did. But when you look at like the big water, it looks like a completely different kayak than say like the 120 or the other ones they have like in the Sportsman line. Yeah,
the big water, it lives up to its name. It's for big water. The way the nose is designed and the hull's designed is to take on big waves and handle big water, but still be able to have a little bit of speed with it. It's it's definitely the fastest of all the Old Town boats outside of that new Old Town Big Salty. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it. I just didn't.
Yeah, that's basically the Ocean Kayak Malibu that they used to have, which is probably the fastest pedal boat out, period. Stock pedal boat. I know you can add some different turbo fins to some of the Hobies and stuff, but straight off the shelf, that Salty's probably the fastest boat. But the Predator, for its size and as much stuff as you can carry, is right behind it and faster than just about any other pedal drive, and then handles big water and big waves like a champ.
Well, what was the reason that because you're the one that got me into the big water? Because most people were asking me, why did you just not go with the 120? And I'm like, I don't know. The big water made sense for like the Great Lakes that I fish. The big like I fish big waters. But what was your reasoning behind like getting into like the Predator back when it was the Predator and sticking with it as it goes to the big water?
Well, I don't mind. I don't fish. I'm not a fair weather fisherman. I like fishing in bad conditions. And if I'm going to be taking big waves or being heavy winds, I want a boat that can handle it. And I knew that one could. Now, the one is, I went and tested some of the other boats down in Florida, and we took the the 106 and some of those boats out on some salt water. I had a 106 for a while and took it down to the Gulf, and it did fine there too, but not near as well as, busting through surf or big waves as the big water would do.
Yeah.
And then on tournament day, like I said, it's just faster. You can cover more water, get to where you're going easier.
Yeah. Now, what was your reason to actually go? Because it's weird, like people deciding like what like brand they really want to get into, and it's weird, like you see like one day like some person's with this team, and then like they'll post that bullshit, Facebook message like my time with blah 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 is done, and now I'm a proud member of this. I mean, are you really a proud member, or are you just there until the next big thing happens? But what was your reason for going with Old Town and sticking with Old Town the way you have?
Well, I used to be on the Wilderness Systems team years ago. That's the first team I was ever on. I've been kayak fishing for about 10 years now. And just out of the blue, Wilderness Systems got a hold of me and asked if I'd be interested in being on their team. Golly, it was back 2013, 2014, something like that. And as a pretty new kayak angler, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. I was all in. And I appreciated them, and I really enjoyed their boats. But as things developed, they weren't really developing their pedal drive well. I didn't really jive with the dealer here in Arkansas at all. I didn't really want to be in a boat that they carried. So I started looking around, and it's about 2016, the Predator PDL started making waves at ICAST and was going to come out. So I left the Wilderness team and just bought a Predator. I wasn't on the Old Town team. I just bought one. The team came later. So, I was sold on the boat before I was on the team.
Okay. So now have you tried like the other ones, like the 120, like with the, let me ask you this, because I know you fish mostly Hobie events, but are you playing around with like the pivot drive and the lock and everything like that?
Oh yeah, I had a autopilot all last year. Had a 136 all last year and a big water or a Predator last year. Like them both. If I had to choose one to fish out, it'd probably be the big water still, just because I've been in it now for almost 5 years. Predator and how big water, and just so comfortable in it. I tell you, one of the hidden gems of that big water, man, is when you're in a tournament and trying to measure a fish, the tank well sits so low, it's down at the water line, that you can put your measuring board in the floor, measure that fish, and there is just about no way that fish is flopping out of that boat. So it's a real secure feeling measuring fish in a tournament too.
Now, what do you think is going to be like the big changes with Old Town? Because their spot lock and whatever, like autopilot, like, that was a game changer. I know, New Canoe has their deal with like Motor Guide and things like that, but
right.
It's not quite the way Old Town has their setup. But what do you think of like the future, like how what they're going to change about some of their stuff as the sport keeps changing with it? I mean, like the kayaks seem like they're pretty good on their own right now, but like what are some of the things that you think are going to like kind of push it to like another level or another step of evolution, because the sport is constantly changing and we're getting more. To me, I'm personally seeing a more like things going more like we had the motors, we had the pedals. I see things going more like geared towards like electronics, like you already start to see like like I think it was Cody Milton who had like 2 screens on his shit. Just the electronics I think are going to be like the driving force in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, and people don't realize. Well, a lot of people do, but Old Town is owned by Johnson Outdoors, and because of that, that umbrella probably has the deepest pockets in the kayak industry. If they want to, whatever they want to do, they can do it, because you're talking about Humminbird, Minn Kota, Old Town, all under one umbrella of ownership. And with Humminbird and Minn Kota out there kicking butt, I mean, they're making money hand over fist. So if they want to put money into R&D for kayaks, they can, and they're doing it. And they really started doing it back with the Predator PDL and got serious about it. And now they keep pushing. I don't want to violate any NDAs or anything, but I can tell you that they are not done innovating, and they're doing some stuff behind the scenes different from anything that's out right now. So, what I could see if I was just guessing, things I don't know about, is you've probably seen the commercials for the One Boat Network stuff that Humminbird's doing or Johnson Outdoors is doing, integrating some of that into kayaks, where it's, maybe they come out with a kayak size version of the Raptor or the Talon to compete with Power Pole. Maybe a Minn Kota outboard system that competes with the Torpedo rather than the bow mount. I mean, that's all stuff they could do if they wanted to. So we'll see where they go with it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna get my kayak though, bro. Like, I've been asking.
Man,
wasn't it you who waited forever to get yours as well?
I mean, I ordered mine back in November. I just got them like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, they're saying April, so
yeah, they're kicking butt and doing everything they can to get them out. The demand is unbelievable. I mean, the dealers can't keep them in. They can't make them fast enough. So it's a good problem to have, but I know it's frustrating for some people. But trust me,
it's weird. Like, if I wanted the 120, with the spot lock and everything, I could get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have some of those left over, but the big water, like I have to wait and it's been I think I ordered like 2 months ago, and they're still saying April. But I mean, that tells you how good they're doing. Because trust me, they want me to have it. I know they want me to have that. Um, but it's crazy like how like how there was a boom in the kayak sales this year, and
Oh yeah.
it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because everyone's running out of product.
Yeah, I talked to a buddy of mine here that owns a shop, or a couple buddies that own shops, and really they are almost they're thankful for all the sales they had, but there was really missed opportunity where they could have sold so much more if they could have just had the product, whether it was fishing tackle or kayaks or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, especially getting a new boat. And I love that video that you posted that you sent me. I think it was still a Predator when you made it,
Yeah,
but there's so much room for stuff. There's so much
yeah.
more like storage areas and like the for the fish finder, the transducer mount they have in there is going to be a game changer for me. Like I'm pretty excited about getting that big water.
Oh yeah, man, you're gonna love it. Like I said, under seat storage behind you, plenty of room on deck. You got the storage in the front hatch. I mean, you'll be able to carry whatever you want on that son of a gun. And I'm a hoarder; I carry too much stuff, so
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy it.
All right, cool, man. We'll wrap this thing up soon. Beginning of the seasons, like, what's your plan for 2021? I know you haven't done the first few events. Which one are you really like honing in on, and like how much do you want to do this year as far as just being a tournament angler?
Well, I want to travel as much as possible. Of course, I'm an empty nester, so I don't have little kids at home or anything, and I have a good job that allows me to be off a lot if I can, but also want to balance things with my off-duty supervisor, also known as my wife. Make sure that all goes good. But she supports me too. Yeah, she's gonna try to travel with me some this year too, which will be fun. But right off the bat, man, I'm fishing a couple BOS events, Broken Bow, and then Dardanelle in April. Sam Rayburn in June. We'll do those 3 in a row. There's the new All-American Kayak Series. I don't know if you've seen that over here in the Midwest. Yeah. Tyler Cole and those guys.
Jerry Mitchell won to get into the 10 or whatever.
He won that tournament, but they're running a series now that's a regional.
Oh, a series.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Tyler Cole and Josh Booth are running that. You may have them in on sometime. They'd be a good combo.
Yeah, I've had Booth on one. That's a good topic too. Well, just real briefly, but like, because you've had Jason Gardner on when they were doing the elite kayak thing for the Northeast. Like, how do you feel? Because like to me, that was what I wanted. Like when I was going to do my tournament series, I was really focusing on like regional stuff. Especially after like what happened with COVID and like things got shut down. I'm like, dude, I felt like there was a need for like strong like. Because a local state club is cool too, but I was thinking like, dude, like some of these areas just need like really good, strong like regional type tournaments, like kind of like what Gardner's doing and what Booth and all those guys are doing. Like,
there needs to be
more of that.
There needs to be a middle ground between the national touring stuff and the local stuff, and I think that's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm going to do a couple of those.
KBF was trying to do it, but I don't think they did a really good job at it because they're trying to do a little bit of everything, and you just can't do everything. But that idea of having like a regional circuit is like, to me, it's like the perfect feeder group to like some of these bigger organizations like Hobie and KBF and Bass. Like having and I just feel like it would do nothing but like help the sport to have like some of those like a strong regional like tournament series.
Yeah, for sure. And I think All-American Series could do that. There used to be a series called the Midwest Series, and it was one of the most fun series that I've ever been a part of. And it was just in the Midwest, but it was little higher entry fees, great competition. It only lasted 1 year. There was some drama there, and it kind of fell apart. So now Josh and those guys have revived kind of this Midwest deal. So I'm going to fish some of those. Plan to fish 5 BOS events, 1 BASS event, maybe 2, but I'm on the fence about Louisville. I don't know what's going on there in Dallas with the championship and where that's going to be and what lake. So, and that's in the middle of the week, having to take a week off. I'm just kind of on the fence about, what to do about that. Man, I'm just going to fish as much as I can. So,
what BOS fits? Are you coming to New York, bro?
No. I wish I could. I wish I could fly up there.
Yeah.
But I've got 5 of them. Well, 4 of them within 7 hours of my house, and then one of them is a little bit of a haul. So
yeah, that's me too. I think I'm only gonna do 3, possible 4. I'll do the also I'm gonna do Champlain, then I'll do the Susky, and then I'm gonna do La Crosse. That's gonna be my long trip for the year. And then if I do decent, then I might do Pickwick.
You're going to La Crosse?
I'm going to La Crosse, bro.
I'm gonna be there, man. That's one of my favorite places. So we're gonna hang out at La Crosse.
Yeah, we're gonna drink
spotted cow.
Yeah.
Get some spotted cow up there. That's their local stuff.
Oh, cool, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming to the show. I'm a big fan of everything you guys are doing, and like I said, like the show quality has gotten really good, and it's like it's helped me step my game. If you notice, I've moved on from Spotify, and I got some like cute little logos and shit going on over here. But
Nah.
I really do appreciate what you guys are doing. I really do appreciate you guys being as cool as you are and answering questions. And if I need something, and just ask. And I love what you guys are doing with the cesspool. I think it's one of the best things in the working for the community. But is there anyone you want to thank real quick that's making fishing easier for you? Whether it be whatever, this is your plug.
I'm gonna thank my number one sponsor, my wife and my girl, AKM Salon and Boutique over there. She's always supporting me. But of course, Old Town, love what they do for us and the team. To me, it's the best team out there. Not knowing everybody else's details, but love what they do for us. And then, all the people in the nation that make KBN fun, make the group page fun. We appreciate them. And I want to say, we're a big fan of yours, man. I appreciate what you do. And I love what you've been doing with your social media. Some of that video with your wife coming out and throwing snowballs was the funniest thing I've seen in a while. So keep up the good work, man.
All right, bro. Well, thanks again. Obviously I'll talk to you soon. But yeah, have a good one.
All right, brother. Thank you.